Sunday, 6th of September 2015. Paper headlines. You are listening to the paper headlines on AthavanEnglish.com, read by Fatima Sharika. First, let's look at the paper headlines from Sunday Observer. New Constitution design in offing. The newly formed National Unity Government will press ahead that with the drawing up of a new constitution and some important reforms to the legal system once the Cabinet of Ministers begins formulating policy and programs, the Sunday Observer learns. The government leadership wants to make the maximum use of the favorable political environment for consensual politics provided by the broad multi-party coalition, as well as the readiness of other parties in parliamentary opposition to support progressive reform, according to high-level sources. Another headline from Sunday Observer. Sirisena Ranil high officials discuss format for domestic probe. President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe met with the Ministers of External Affairs and Justice and the Tri-Forces commanders last week to discuss an acceptable format for the proposed domestic mechanism to address accountability issues. A senior official of the Ministry of External Affairs describing last week's discussion as an initiation said the high-level officials will, through a series of discussions, reach an agreement as to the best mechanism or the mechanisms to be adopted to handle the outstanding issues of accountability, which has seen Sri Lanka hold before the UN Human Rights Council sessions in Geneva since 2012. Another headline from Sunday Observer. Fonseca offers evidence on KP. Responding to declaration made by the Attorney General's Department that there was no substantial evidence to prosecute Kumaran Padmanathan alias KP, the former Chief Procurer for the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam and considered its international face, former Army Commander Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca said there was enough evidence to commit him for trial. Fonseca, who called the AG statement treacherous, said, "I am prepared to share information with the Attorney General on this. There are photographs of KP in LTTE uniform. Even a junior soldier in the army knows KP was responsible for raising funds and that he facilitated purchasing and transportation of arms and ammunition on behalf of the LTTE." Another headline from Sunday Observer. President chief guest at UNP anniversary. President Maithripala Sirisena will be the chief guest at the ruling United National Party's 69th anniversary being celebrated at the party headquarters Sirikotha in Pitakotte today. According to event organizers, the president's participation in the party event signals a new political culture that reflects consensus building. The anniversary program is scheduled to start at 9:30 am and continue for several hours. The main event will be at Sirikotha, Media Minister Gayantha Karunatilaka said. Let's move on to another headline from Sunday Observer. Former Theatre Kirula head files bribery charges. Claims over ₹500 million allocated for the exhibition misappropriated. Accuses Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya, high-ranking public officials. Former Chief Executive of the Theatre Kirula Secretariat, Kanti Gunawardena, has filed 2 complaints with the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, accusing the former Theatre Kirula Exhibition Committee, including Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya and high-ranking public officials, of alleged misuse and misappropriation of public funds amounting to ₹500 million. The funds had been allocated for the Theatre Kirula exhibition in Oyamaduwa and Ampara in 2012 and 2013 respectively. Gunawardena, who herself was arrested on May 2, 2013 for allegedly misappropriating public funds amounting to ₹40 million and spent 4 months in remand prison without any charges being framed against her, has filed the 2 complaints through her lawyer Chivula Bandara. Another headline from Sunday Observer. 4 SLFP ministers sworn in tomorrow. 4 new ministers from the Sri Lanka Freedom Party will be sworn in tomorrow, government sources said. There are 15 slots for the SLFP on the joint cabinet, but so far only 11 ministers have taken oath. And that's from the Sunday Observer. And now let's move on to the paper headlines from Ceylon today. Prabhakaran's mother's ashes in Tamil Nadu Seeman's shrine room. Soil of one knee also there. The ashes of late Velupillai Pariyavathi Pillai, mother of slain LTTE leader Velupillai Prabhakaran, have been placed in a clay pot in the shrine room at the residence of well-known Indian film personality Seeman in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. Pariyavathi Pillai, who fell ill in Jaffna, died at a hospital in Colombo. And now let's move on to the paper headlines from the Sunday Times. UNP SLFP common stand on Geneva issue. MOU to be expanded to include national unity, trade union and other key issues. Partners of the national government are to reach common ground on issues before the UN Human Rights Council sessions later this month. That will include the formal response to the report on the investigations on Sri Lanka and matters relating to the domestic inquiry mechanism the government wants to adopt. This will be one of the highlights of an extended memorandum of understanding which the United National Party and the Sri Lanka Freedom Party will agree upon, UNP Chairman Malik Samaravikrama told the Sunday Times yesterday. The advance copy of the OASL report is expected to be presented to President Maithripala Sirisena next week. Thereafter, the report will be formally presented to the Council at its 29th sessions, which begin on September 15th. The mandate of the OASL required it to undertake investigations into alleged serious violations and abuses of human rights and crimes by troops and the tiger gorillas. Another headline from the Sunday Times. Ranil Modi talks on September 15th. Poaching SEPA on agenda. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe will make his first official trip overseas when he visits India from September 14th to 16th. Official talks with his counterpart Prime Minister Narendra Modi will take place on September 15th in New Delhi. Mr. Modi will host a lunch in honor of the visiting Premier on the same day. Premier Wickremesinghe will also hold talks with India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj and pay a courtesy call on President Pranab Mukherjee. Foreign Minister Mangala Samaravira, who will leave for Geneva to attend the UN Human Rights Council sessions on September 12th, will join the Prime Minister in New Delhi for the bilateral talks. India is expected to take up the issue of the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, that is SEPA, talks on which broke down due to opposition by sections of the Sri Lankan business community during the previous regime. Another headline from the Sunday Times. Economy in catch-22 situation. Managed float of dollar as prices of imports rise. The central bank has put the brakes on falling foreign exchange reserves, exacerbated by a surge in consumer spending including on motor vehicles in recent months, by allowing a free float of the US dollar but raising fears that this could spike inflation. With US dollar reserves falling as imports rose, the CB signaled to money market dealers on Friday that the dollar would be allowed a free float and less intervention, mainly to protect the rupee from crashing by the banking regulator. The dollar was expected to trade between Rs 137 and Rs 139 next week, with the CB not allowing it to move beyond that range. More headlines from the Sunday Times. Spot buying of coal amid Rs 50 billion tender controversy. The Lanka Coal Company has made a spot purchase of 165,000 tons of coal after a separate multi-billion rupee tender ran into controversy in July. The consignment has been ordered to tide over the immediate requirement for coal at Lakvijaya Coal Power Plant in Urachole, an LCCE spokesman said. Open tenders were called for the spot purchases, resulting in a company called Liberty Commodities Limited securing the contract. You listen to the paper headlines on AthavanEnglish.com. Thank you for listening. Have a pleasant day.